Hey guys, in today's video we're getting back to the TLR 22 Elite and we are going to build these shocks out. Hello folks, welcome to Netcruzer RC. Today we're going to get back into building the 22 5.0 DC Elite. After a bit of a hiatus, I have not touched this in well over a month, but it's time to get back and finish this buggy out because we've got a new track available in the area where I do want to get racing a two-wheel drive buggy on that clay track ASAP. That's at Electrosport RC Raceway. So it's about time we get this guy finished. The chassis is pretty nearly complete. I do need to put in the electronics and the battery tray and the servo, but where I was at last we left off was building the shocks. I had skipped over the shock build process and finished out the chassis first, so that was a little bit unorthodox as they want you to do the shocks in section C, and I had moved all the way to the end. I was all the way at section G or H that I now need to do the shocks. Hey, I just found my crescent wrench. It was in the book. If you've been watching some previous videos, I mentioned I had lost this. It was inside the book for the TLR. How did that happen? Anyway, cool, found it. We're going to start with building the shock, step C1. This one is an overview of the steps of how you're supposed to build out the shock cartridge. I noticed that the cartridge caps are already on, so you do need to take that off, unscrew that, and then here's all the pieces that are related to the shocks that you would need to go and find. Bag C1, there was this interesting bag of parts. This actually looks like partial tools and partially some of the inserts that go into the cartridge of the shock body. These white plastic parts are usually made out of Delrin, which is a very nice machined type of a piece, very smooth for allowing the shock shaft to pass through. And first part will be putting all of the components into the cartridge. So this is the white Delrin pieces. I need to find out what these pieces are. These O-rings, typically there's an O-ring that goes on the bottom for when the cartridge seals, and there's an O-ring that goes on the top for when the cap seals. These are plastic shock caps. If you do want to get metal, that is an option that you have to buy. While it's a DC Elite kit that has titanium and aluminum, and a lot of other places, you do not get metal shock caps with this build. Right, here we've got the 4 shock bodies, and building out shocks may be a little bit oily, so I am going to put down a shock towel rag just to build it on. So I'm going to pop off this bottom cap here, and it should be empty. Yes, and it is completely empty. That's kind of odd that they would have built that. Why did they screw those on from the factory? I don't quite understand, but it's not going to matter if you get them mixed up. They're all 4 of them are the same, so just take those off, and then we're going to build out all the parts that go inside of this cap. Inside the bag that had these 2 little tools, which we'll get into in a minute. I don't actually showing you use them in the book, but that seems to be what they're designed for. 4 white Delrin spacers, and these are the 4 white bottom cartridges. And then inside of this bag is your silicone seals. So this is white Delrin, this is black silicone seal, this is white Delrin, this is black silicone seal, and then this outer ring then goes on the bottom of the shock. This is black, white cap. You see there's a little groove in here? That's where the O-ring is gonna slip into, so just pull it over just slip it over the threads and it just sits in a little groove there on either side. The top one is to seal the cap and the bottom one is to seal the cartridge. Okay, now that I've got my O-ring seals on all the shock bodies, I'm going to start building out the cartridges, and this is what I was mentioning about the order of these parts and how they go in. This is how it works. So I'm just going to use the 32 weight shock oil, drop some in the cartridges before the next step, which is putting the shock piston through. Build it out from this side. I'm going to do it that orientation. You're putting in one of the black little rubber silicone inserts first, and then the white Delrin spacer, and then another black silicone. And then lastly, you've got your little white Delrin cap, and you put that on. Before I put this white Delrin cap on, I'm just going to put in a little drop of shock oil, so that way that the whole thing is going to be lubricated for when I shove the shock shaft up through it. And that's it. And then you put your cap on. Twist that down so it seats on the O-ring that you put on the body earlier. That's this O-ring here. And then, yeah, so that's 1 shock cartridge built. I'm going to do the other 4 now. Okay, now we're on the point where I need to build out the piston onto the shock shaft, put it through the body, and install the shock rod end and put the ball on. Make sure that you actually get all of your spacing correct, 22 millimeters front, 28.5 millimeters rear when you install it. A couple of other interesting things I noted is make sure you realize that there's this little spacer here which goes on the front only. So when you're building out the front, these two spacers go on the bottom of the two front shock shafts, which are the shorter shock shafts, and not on the rears. And then all four of them get this spacer washer on the top. This is the screw that holds on your piston. The pistons are quite thick. The fronts use a 1.6 and the rears use a 1.6, 1.7 split. I don't technically know what that means, but just make sure that you put the ones that say 1.7 on them on the rear. The unique thing that they want you to do is this indicator here, which means degrease, and then Loctite in the screw which holds the piston on the top. So before I install this screw into this piston shock shaft, degrease this inside threading, so I might just shoot a little bit of brake cleaner on that right now just to degrease it. When you're building shocks, if you can locate a shock build tool, that does help a lot. It allows you to pinch onto the shafts without damaging them. It allows you to hold on to the shock bodies without damaging them. Allows you to put in ball cups in and out. It's a nice little tool to have if you don't have one already. This one's made by Techno. Other brands make them too. It's a shock tool is what that's called. You can do it without it, but it just makes it a lot easier with it. These little screws here, they are a 1.3 mil, and if you don't have a 1.3 mil, a 0.50 fits, so just be aware of that. Before you put your piston on the shaft, put this little guy over. That little washer sits on the bottom, and this goes over top, and then your screw with the Loctite on it. Also, when installing the pistons on the shaft, just make sure that you have the righting facing up. Pressing that down in pretty hard. That's what I was mentioning. That's a thick shock piston for a 10th scale. And then there's no washer on top or anything. What you do is use a little bit of Loctite. And you just screw that in. Okay, don't go too tight because that can strip out really easily. Remember that you do have to put this little spacer on the bottom here. So that's one front done. Now I'm going to build out the other three.
Put that guy on first. Then your piston. Then your screw.
Now we're actually ready to install the shock shafts down through the bodies. And before I do, I think I'm also just going to give it a little dab of silicone oil over the threads. You really just want to have that lubricated up because these threads are exactly what could do the most damage to this shock. Just don't shove it through dry. It doesn't say to do this, but this is a tip that I would say to do. You want to pop that through carefully, just like that. Okay, let's do that again for the other front. Going to put a little bit of lube on there. Pop that through. Okay. 4 shock bodies and 4 shock shafts that now need to have the end links put on. This is where this tool comes into great benefit right now because you really want to be holding on to the shock shaft properly with a 3 mil pinch while screwing these on. Just screw on like any normal rod end, and the only thing you need to do after you've screwed it on for a bit is just to measure it. So you want to have 22 millimeters front and 28.5 millimeters rear. Okay, quality control time. I had to measure out my shock shaft. So this is how I initially did it, where I just screwed it in all the way. And this is after a proper measurement. So you see how the very top of the retainer here is at the very edge of the threads. If you don't have a little tape measure to actually measure it out, if you put the very edge of the top of that right aligned with where it steps into the threads, it will be at the exact measurement that you need. So if you're building them out and you can't see threads, you screwed them in too far. You need to pop the ball cups in, and this is a lot easier, as I mentioned, if you have the proper tool. So you just pop that on there. Okay, ball link in. If you do not have this tool, you can do this with just any kind of plier, but you will maybe mar up some of the finish. There we go. All the ball links are in. Now we've built the cartridges, put the shock shaft through, put the pistons on. Put the ball end link in, and now we need to fill it with oil, let all the bubbles out. So you want 32.5 weight front, 27.5 weight rear. They do give you oils with it. Give you 27.5 weight for the rear. And I am going to use this because typically I would want to use something like 35 front, 30 rear. But since it is winter time, I feel like these lighter shock oils might actually be acceptable, because in the cold they would be a little bit thicker than what they're rated. I think that's how it works anyway. Like, the colder it gets, you're going to end up having thicker oil. It is temp sensitive. I'm not sure what temperature they rate it at. They want you to emulsify it 3 times, then put your cap on, compress it. It'll bleed all the air out, and then you put the little screw in. So that is a quick way that you can bleed out your shocks. I will likely still wait for a few minutes after filling the oil to try and get as many bubbles out as possible. And in all of my RC gear, I do not have an actual thing that's for standing up shocks to fill them. What I do instead is I just usually find an old tire, something that has appropriately sized holes and that is big enough, and then you can just set the tire down. You can pop all your shocks inside the tire rim. Just fill them up that way. So now I'll be able to fill these with oil, and I'll just let them sit here and let the oil air bubbles come out. Just make sure you're paying attention to what side is what. So I need to have my fronts. My fronts are going to go over here, and I'm going to have my rears over here. So the rears are going to be the ones that have a gap, and the fronts are over here where you can't see them. So I'm going to give the fronts 32.5. It's going to fill it up to the top. You can already see an air bubble coming out right there. You can see the air bubbles coming out of it. The other thing to do while you're waiting for all the air to come out of them is just pick them up, and then what I like to do is you want to rotate a little bit. That lets any air bubbles out of the bottom of it. So rotate your piston shaft around, up and down a couple times while rotating it, and then just let it sit there. There's a bunch of big bubbles came out of that one as soon as I moved it, so that's exactly why you want to do that. Sometimes you can get air trapped under your piston. Now while those are airing out, I'm going to open up and do the rings. I'm just going to do the spring adjusters. So that's these guys here, which you want to have lubricated. So just use whatever silicone oil you had. Put a little bit on your fingers, oiling up the rings. Then you want to put that down inside of here. There's a little groove on the inside near the top. Oil it up and then get it setting in there. And now do that for the rest. Now we're ready to put on the cap and bleed it. So I'm going to take, here's a front. Even though I've already agitated it a few times, I'm just going to do that again. So I'm going to bring it up near the top, bring it down, up near the top. Just going to go up and down slowly 3 times while slowly rotating it. That's going to just allow any bubbles that were trapped under the piston to get out. And now while the shaft is all the way down, I'm going to take my shock cap, screw that on. And now this is where these tools come into place, where they give you these tools. This is to hold on to the bottom of the shock body, and this one for the shock cap. This is your tool set for snugging down the shock cap, because otherwise you cannot get it tight enough. And now that the shock cap is on, I'm now going to compress the shock shaft, and then all the oil and air should pop out of the top here. So that's one built. We'll see how much rebound it has. There's no rebound, which I like. So that's good. Just be careful when you're screwing on the shock lids. Turn it backwards until you can feel that very first thread engage or skip, and then go the other direction where you're tightening it on, and now you're good to go. Once you start getting a couple rotations in, you can feel that it's good, and then you can finish it up properly. Also, in the time that it takes you to get your screw ready to close up the emulsion hole, make sure that you do not pull out the shock shaft. It needs to stay fully compressed, or you're not going to get the proper rebound setting that you need. So I'm holding that shock shaft closed to make sure that it doesn't come down, while then screwing in the emulsion. Also be careful with this, because this is metal going into plastic, and you want to make sure that you don't cross thread this one either. Alright, see, they seem pretty consistent. That's my second shock shaft. This one has slightly more rebound, but not enough to really worry about. Right on. Okay, do the rears now. At this point, all of my shocks are built, filled with oil, and they all have pretty consistent 0 to 1% rebound. I'm happy with that. I just need to put on the little spring tensioners. Make sure that you put them on the right way, because these are stepped, right? So make sure you don't put them on the wrong way, or then you wouldn't be holding onto your spring properly. So they face with the step down. And you've already put in your greased up O-ring on here, so it should screw onto the body fairly easily. And then the only thing left is to put the spring cup retainers on the bottom and the actual springs itself. Also, I just noticed that this is color coded, so usually I put the color, I'm going to reverse that, I'm going to put the color near the top, because the top gets hit with stones and debris less, and then you know that this was a green keyed spring. It's a little bit safer up near the top where it's not going to get chipped off. When you do install this through, they want you to do it in a left and right orientation, so just pay attention to which side they want you to put it on. As well as, if you did want to do tuning options, you can get a low, a medium, or a high based spring cup. Secure these spring cups on, but I'm going to do that on the buggy so that I make sure that I actually have them in the proper orientation that I need. Yeah, we built the shocks. We're now installing the shocks onto the buggy, and in the instructions they ask you to have the emulsion screw facing toward the inside of the buggy, and then they want you to have the spring cup retainer facing the outside of the chassis with the screw facing forward. So I'm going to do that to this one now. Spring cup, emulsion screw in towards the center over the little bushing, and then install the 5.5 mil nut. And they do recommend that you do not over tighten this. So this one is meant to just be there just to hold it on. You don't want to screw it all the way down. Just have it in enough where the nylock threads hold it, but then you have enough pivot point on there. Do not over tighten, it says. You just want to have it on there just enough so that the threads of the nylock nut hold it in place. At the bottom, they want you to have the spring cup retainer facing towards the front and outside of the car, so just pop that over. And yeah, this ball cup does ride on these threads. Tighten that down. Do not over tighten. Hey guys, we are done the shocks. Shock build complete. So that's the TLR 22 5.0 Elite, and we're ready to carry on here. We are now fully caught up in the documentation up to Series H, where you're now installing the servo, the motor, the battery retainer, electronics tray, wheels, and then it's done. Paint, body, wing, done. So a couple of steps left and then this will be done. So we've now got shocks on. Really the rest is mostly electronics and paint, and then it will be finished. So 1 or 2 videos left, and then we'll be done with this series, and then you'll get to see it running on the track. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe. If you want to talk to me, leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.